Well, I've been to, Hamas celebrations or Hamas events in Gaza City, we should say. The crowds are massive there. They have a large popular base. And I've talked and I've spent time with people who are sort of part of the middle class intelligentsia in Gaza, who don't support Hamas on a cultural or religious basis, find them to be oppressive, don't support any faction, but they support the Al Qassam brigades, which is the armed wing of Hamas. And there's a division between the leadership of Hamas and the Al Qassam brigades. You'll see Hamas leaders out there shaking hands or, um, you know, putting on a show with florid rhetoric, giant events, and they'll be surrounded by the fighters. But you rarely see the leadership of the Al Qassam brigades, if ever. It's sort of a semi-secret organization like the IRA. Mohammed Deif is the leader. Technically, he's the leader of the Al Qassam brigades. There's only one photograph of him. Most of his family has been killed in Israeli assassinations. I wouldn't say I was witness to one assassination attempt. I was a neighborhood away when Israel dropped a 2,000-pound bomb on an apartment to kill him, and he survived. They killed his wife and kid. Um, and it's this, and he's probably somewhat malformed or very wounded from all the attacks that he suffered. He's probably in a tunnel. So it's this idea that he suffers with the people and faces the same circumstances that they do. He's not hanging out in Doha in conference halls like much of Hamas's exiled leadership is. And so the people identify with him. He's sort of a folk hero. And the Al Qassam brigades come from the people. They are a popular fighting force that's supplemented also by Palestinian Islamic Jihad, but also by the PFLP, which is traditionally the left of Palestinian society. In Gaza, it's a little different. They right now, I mean, they're militarily being supported by Iran. There's no Soviet Union to support them. But it's not just Hamas who's taking the fight to Israel at this point. So the point is they have the respect. They have the respect of society, which, like any other society under occupation, wants to fight for their liberation. Hamas also has, its zakat committees, its social aid committees, which have won a lot of goodwill. They've brought people aid. They've been more efficient than the Palestinian Authority as a municipal authority. They've been less corrupt over the years, although as they rule, they become more and more like, a typical government. And, I walked around Gaza City with, some youth, and you would see these guys with short beards and suits on coming out of hotels, and they all have the same look about them. They look like Muslim Brotherhood operatives. And you could see the contempt that the youth would have for them, that these guys are becoming very increasingly insular. They're bringing in money from Qatar to build fancy mosques while the people were suffering. So there was that. But at this point, since October 7th, I mean, everything's been destroyed. And Hamas's message that we suffer with the people is resonating, that we come from the people.